Yo.
Okay. Kind of minor, okay? But I'm just thinking, okay? All right, so I bought a cord. There's the microphone slot on the laptop works, right?
Microphone slot. You mean like the 3.5 millimeter
Yeah.
one on the laptop? I don't. Does it have one?
Yeah, it does. I looked at it. It does.
Then yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Because I can run a line. I bought the cable to run a line just from the mixer to the laptop, so that our mics just feed right into Discord, so we don't have to have the other mic in the middle of the table.
Um, okay.
The only other question is there a way for us to get our video onto the laptop? I haven't like spent a lot of time thinking about this yet. Have we thought about this? Did we ever try to think about this without having to have the webcam on the TV?
Let me think. Our video. You mean the OBS output, to be clear, right? Or do you mean something different than the OBS output?
Yeah, I guess the OBS widescreen shot. Oh wait, could we NDI it back and then video capture NDI with OBS?
Might be delayed.
It's for fucking
Why? Why
Discord.
do? Why do?
Huh?
Why do
Oh,
we want to do that?
because we can eliminate the webcam. We wouldn't need it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Let me think.
How much of that Kill Tony episode did you watch? I watched the whole thing. Jesus. Is Dave Smith actually funny? I think I watched one of his things before. I didn't think it was that funny. I try not to let my political opinions taint things. I don't think I do because like Ryan Long. I don't know if I would agree with him much on political stuff, but I think his stuff is like pretty funny. I don't think Joe Rogan is very funny. the there's a line to walk. I talked about this when I did League of Legends. There's a very fine line between like sounding funny angry versus just sounding salty angry, and one is like the funniest thing in the world and one is the least funny thing in the world, but maybe different people perceive once you've crossed that line, because there are ways to like make fun of certain things like trans people or whatever the fuck that I think it can be really funny, but some of it just comes off as like really salty cringe. Yeah, I don't know.
Could you could the streaming computer output HDMI?
I'm trying to think of on what how, like how do you output
Is
HDMI on a
on the streaming PC, um, it has a capture card. So we need. Well, I mean, output would be
video card?
output simple. That's a video card. So we do have that. So that would be like the same thing that we do. Oh wait, that's a solution. So like the same thing that we do with the mirrored um, monitor cam display that we have.
Oh, we
We
could
would
take one
split
more video out, but we would need a
and
capture
then
card on the laptop then, right?
just the Elgato Cam Link would do it.
Oh, right, yes. So right now I've got it mirrored to one monitor. Is there, I imagine it should be easy to mirror it to three monitors, right? Oh no, I don't mirror it, I
Yep.
project it. But I could
But you
mirror the
could.
projected
Yeah.
monitor onto
Yep.
the cat.
Yep.
Okay, easy. Boom. Okay, cool. And then we eliminate both of those. Okay.
So no
I,
more webcam. Yeah.
yeah, the mic will be eliminated, the webcam will be eliminated. Cool. And then the what did I? Oh, the TV frame we have that takes an HDMI input, right?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
Or display port or anything else. So really, all if we want to do that, all we need is, um, any piece of shit camera
Why?
pointing out the window.
Well, I bought another $2,000 Black Magic camera. Okay,
Why?
because it
Wow.
needs to look nice. It's Miami. We got a beautiful view. It needs to be captured. I got another
Okay.
$1,000 lens for it too. Okay, hell yes.
You have too much money. I would like set up like a fucking Logitech webcam, but okay,
Fuck
fine.
that. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay. In all of your autistic obsession over HDR, I haven't looked
Yes.
this up at all, so I'm curious if you know. If you take, do you know what the name of the standard is? Not HDMI, but it's the other type of output you can take from those video cameras that like screw in.
If you're talking about what allows HDR, it's
No, it doesn't technically have to do with HDR. It's just there's another video out connection.
that
Oh,
what?
SDI, that's it. Does SDI out of those cameras
Yeah.
give you better quality or anything else than the HDMI out, or is it the exact same thing?
Ooh, I have no idea. I have never done anything with SDI before.
Okay,
It's a
I'll just look it up then.
Pocket 610, 6K. Now here's the better question, and the thing I don't know the answer to is you would have to be doing two completely separate outputs to at that point. So let's say we're streaming to Kick and to YouTube and maybe to Twitter or some other site, right? The issue is that what you would be displaying to YouTube would be completely different for like a few reasons, as opposed to what we're streaming to um, Kick and Twitter. I think it has to use a different encoder, which is
Yep,
what the fuck
encoders,
is it
no
called?
problem. The multi-output, the multi-RTMP thing, that's what I'm doing on this computer right now and the
Well,
one
no,
downstairs.
it's the fact that we're taking in um, like HDR content and broadcasting that as is to YouTube, and then I think for the other services we have to do something different to broadcast that as SDR, right?
When you
Because
say do
we
something
won't.
different, if you're talking about changing any encoder setting, that can be done easily. If you're talking about changing like the color spacing options on OBS, I don't think you can do that.
Okay, I mean, I guess we'll see.
So like here, if you want, I'm sending you a picture right now. Um, on my main PC right now, I'm streaming to YouTube using the AV1 encoder and everything. This is what I stream to Kick with though. See, it's a totally different encoder with a different resolution, frame rate, bit rate, everything. It's just a totally separate stream. But I can't control like the color spacing and stuff if that's something that's important for HDR. I don't know if that matters, but
I wish. Is there any actual video experts in your chat, like actual, or have we become the video experts and
I just
everyone else
look
just
and
has?
read things and buy things and try them out. That's what I would do. It's
Yeah,
the only thing I
the
trust.
because the thing I don't know. Okay, and this is the thing that confuses me. If you look up the Blackmagic Pocket 6K, which is
Mm-hmm.
what we have,
Mm-hmm.
it says that it outputs HDR over the HDMI port. Great. But then when you look at the actual thing that HDR is supposed to require, it's supposed to require something. It's like a not 2020. It's like hold on, it's like Rec 2020 or some shit is what we're doing, but it's supposed to be in something else. Maybe it's 709 or
That sounds like a color
um,
space thing. Yeah. I don't know if that is influenced by like the cable or something you're using, but
hold
I
on.
don't know enough about like these color spaces. I couldn't even begin to guess. I haven't read anything about these yet. So
Well, I'll say it's going to be very cool because it allows you to go fucking crazy with your bit rate as well that you push to YouTube.
what do you mean go crazy with your bit rate?
I think you can push 100 megabits a second to YouTube if
Oh,
you do
sure. But I mean,
HDR
like
streaming.
we have for our podcast, they're not going to know a difference between like 5K and 15K even.
Well, if we do HDR, they will.
If they have an HDR monitor, maybe. But even at that,
You
remember for
what?
bitrate, well, I shouldn't speak out of turn for HDR, I'm not sure, but generally for bitrate, that helps the most when you've got a lot of changing, a lot of movement and stuff. So like when you're doing like FPS games or gaming in general, that's like, yeah, high bitrate is super good. But when you're doing like podcasts, people are just like sitting there and we're not like moving around, there's not like the higher bitrate just isn't doing much.
Okay, so there's okay. Hold on, just so we can get through this because I do want to get a test to at least see if it works. So there's Rec 2020, which is a color space, and then there's I guess a new one called the Rec 2100. Here, this actually looks like a good article for us to maybe understand shit. And this one is the recommendation for HDR, but your camera, even
Mm-hmm.
though it says it does HDR, it says it only does it in 2020. So I'm confused if that matters or not. Because it says, hey, we output HDR, no problem. But then I read this and it's like, hey, Rec 2100 was introduced for HDR. So that's what I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read some of it. Yeah. Technically, I think for the cameras that we're using, HDMI out is kind of like I think it's kind of a waste because I don't know if it's ordinary for broadcast cameras or what, but like typically you're recording your really 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 high quality shit is being recorded to a card, and whatever you're outputting for HDMI, I think the intended purpose of the HDMI outs are generally for like just monitoring.
You're like, what we're doing is not good.
No, it's okay. For what we're doing for podcasts and everything, I'm just saying that generally, when people are using the HDMI out, it's just to like monitor what's going on. It's not like this isn't your like the camera footage that I like. For example, I use the lowest quality encode and everything that I can when I do bridges, and one card for a 2-hour show is around 140 gigabytes. So when I finish a Bridges episode of about like 2 hours, I have to send about 450 gigabytes to August, half a terabyte. That's on the lowest quality setting. So the file size is huge.
So do the cameras that you have SDI output for live video?
Yeah, they do. I just don't think that they're meant to output really high quality live video. That's just
Why?
not because I think they're intended to. One is because I don't even know what the limit is for data transfer on cables like that generally, and two, I just think they're meant for recording stuff. I think they're not generally meant for broadcasting.
Hold on, I'm reading something.
Not that it matters much. I mean, like that. What I'm talking about right there has to do with like film format and everything. Like you still get the advantage of having a nice camera and like the body of the camera and the lens and everything else. You're still benefiting from that. I'm just saying in terms of like the format, but okay, that was it though. That's the only question I had.
Okay, cool. All right, later, man.
Be careful.
Oh wait, you're gonna buy whatever shit we need, right? Like the Elgato capture card and all that other jazz.
No, I already have 2 of those actually, so I'm good.
You might need the longer HDMI cable.
Yeah, maybe once I get this camera stand, I'll go downstairs and plug everything in and I'll see what we need because we have so many extra fucking cables downstairs.
I didn't see an extra. I looked pretty hard. I couldn't find a longer HDMI cable. We only have like 6-footers.
Oh. Well. Yeah, 6 feet like my dick. Are you using custom LUTs in those nice cameras? Fuck no, I'm not. Your crud is finally coming back, huh? Crud? Crud? Oh wait, shit! I shouldn't have closed this. Oh, CrowdStrike. Listen, I'm long on CrowdStrike. Okay. I'm long. I'm very long on this. What did I buy it? Does anybody know? This video explains color space the best. Okay. Average down with calls or hedge with puts. Bro, I don't think Vanguard does that, and I'm not about to use my Robinhood account for real. Fuck that. We don't believe in hedging here. I think Rob bringing up that there were some elected officials that were at J6 and kept office or were allowed to run after is interesting. Shouldn't they have been disallowed from running? That would be interesting if you could have named one. I think that is interesting. I'd be curious to see what their involvement is. Just one of the problems, I think I was kind of going off on this earlier. People just don't understand anything about how our court system works or how criminal court works. And this idea of like, well, if somebody did this, why did they charge a crime? It's like, bro, there's a whole ass thing about charging crimes. There's like a whole meta to charging crimes. That is more complicated than just if you think a person did a thing, then just charge them all of the crimes and see what happens in court, right? Yeah. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hello.
How you doing?
I will the disclaimer. I am incredibly drunk.
Nice job.
So don't hold me accountable for anything.
CrowdStrike is coming back. Okay? I'm only down 60K now. Let's go, baby. Hell yes.
Initially, I wanted to call in to talk about your chat with ethno-nationalist Britain people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I have a question about that, if you don't mind. But also, what do you think, Kursk People's Republic? So, us liberating Kursk in Russia, what do you think? How
Well,
does that sound?
I think if those people are, need to be protected from Russians that are trying to assassinate and kill them all, and, you guys need to
Yes.
step in and protect those people from evil Russian colonized, I think that's okay. It's a
I agree.
limited, controlled
know?
military
Uh,
operation. And nobody's saying you take it over. They can vote on their own. Okay. Now you guys should have full military control
Yeah, we
over the
can do
polling
a
place and everything.
referendum.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we can do a referendum. And also, you know what? We don't even have to replace the names everywhere like Russians do in Ukraine, because all the names in Kursk are already Ukrainian, because that's historically Ukrainian land,
Yeah.
Even Mearsheimer would agree.
Yeah,
It's like
there you
what
go.
he says, like a sphere of interest or some shit, like sphere of influence, whatever the fuck. It's basically is that, right?
It's real
just our
politic.
sphere
I
of
mean, what are you
interest.
supposed to do, right? What else can Ukraine do but invade Russian territory and take them for their own security? That's just how
Unironically.
large powers act, right? I guess. Yeah.
Yes, we are stepping in, okay? We're stepping up. Sorry, not stepping in. Stepping up. And also, it is kind of funny that America has been freaking out about it because White House didn't give us like any, green light on it. And we also didn't ask. And I'm loving it, okay?
Yeah.
I know you're American and everything, but I'm having a blast over here.
Wait, did I fall
Because
for
last time,
Did I fall for fake news, or are you guys are the F-16s operational now?
yes, yeah, but it's very like hush hush
Oh,
where
okay.
they are used.
Because I got a big
it is.
American boner. Okay, I don't know if it was a fake video or
Yeah.
not. Okay, but watching listening to the sounds that they make as two of them were flying overhead, I was like, God damn! It was a Top Gun moment.
Yes, I also had an American boner. Okay, so I had one too. So I agree. Yes,
Oh, those were
yeah,
Dutch
oh no, people are
F-16s?
going to.
Fuck off. If they were Dutch F-16s.
Yes,
the F-16 is an
they're
American
Dutch,
platform, isn't it?
but-
Fuck you guys. That means we probably sold to them first, or they made it with our blueprints. Shut the fuck up. Who said that? You're banned.
They did made it with details of American stuff, yeah, and also with NATO, stuff. So it's unavoidable, essentially, yeah. But it is the Dutch who gave them to us, not Americans. So you're still cucked, I suppose. But still good news and pretty hardcore, pleasant to see. But the funniest bit is reading Russian Telegram today. Is you have boners because of the F-16. I have boners reading Russian Telegram because reading them being like super afraid and super like ass mad at the same time. And also they're like, Ukrainians are evacuating us. Why are they doing that? And you're like, Russia encounters a proper conduct in war. So funny to read them how they're like, well, our Russians are not evacuating us, but Ukrainians do. And you're like, yeah, that's, laws of war. That's how proper armies conduct war. They try to minimize deaths from the civilians. And they're so confused by it. And reading it is just hilarious. Also, Russia bombed their own villages and cities in Kursk region. And aerial bombs on their own cities and villages. So I don't know how Russians are feeling about it right now.
They are giving 10,000 rubles to people who have to flee their homes, which is, big compensation.
Yeah, super much.
Apparently it's like 120 USD
money.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's dirt. Yeah, so it's very, very interesting. I mean, I like that our people are so far conducting themselves very well, which I expected of them. So I'm happy about that. I mean, those cunts really don't deserve any grace, but we're still giving it to them. So yeah, we still should be better than the abominable assholes we're fighting against, I suppose. So yeah, but fun day. Also, Scott Ritter got FBI on him finally. Russians no longer have access to YouTube, which I'm super happy about.
Yeah,
And,
right. You
overall,
wish.
it's been-
I'm sure there's 50 trillion other accounts they work through, but
Yeah, I mean, they are saying they will use their own platform now, but they always say that some Chiburashka Russian, Russian shit version of like Instagram or like YouTube or whatever the fuck.
yeah.
Well, anyhow, yeah. Today has been a drinking day. Okay, today has been success after success, dunk after dunk. I am a little bit worried though that our guys are gonna find themselves in trouble there, like in some sort of like encirclement, or maybe if we have to step away, it will be a problem. I don't know. We will see how it plays out. But they took so many prisoners of war there from Russian, soldiers. So it could be good for our exchange, because we do need to get our guys out, considering that now even UN confirmed that 95% of our Ukrainians are getting tortured in Russian captivity. So maybe we can use that. I don't know. But frankly, I'm having a blast. Yeah. About the fucking ethno-nationalists you talk with. I never thought I'd say this, and please don't quote me on this ever. Don't do any clips or anything. But listening to that, I started missing Russians. I started to feel appreciation towards them.
What do you mean by
because
that?
Because these ones are cocked.
Yeah.
They're like so. That's my question. Why are they like that? Why are they so?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by cocked?
Like, they can't say anything.
Oh
like,
yeah, no.
straight.
That's why I like the Nazis when I was arguing with them. They're like, yeah, we need to get rid of all the fucking brown people. We need to deport. It's like, okay, base. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Whereas like, yeah, when I'm arguing with these guys, I was like, well, the reason why they protested a Muslim mosque is because Islam is kind of tied to immigration, and that one kid is tied to immigration because he's brown, so they're all kind of like related, and that's why we're protesting them, and it has nothing to do. And it's like, bro, oh my god, kill me, get me the fuck out of here.
I know. Just say, like, what do you think? Like, why are they? Why are they like that?
Yeah. And then every time I hear that phrase, mass migration, kill me, fam. Mass migration.
Yeah, you're just against migration.
My God. Yeah.
You
just say, you say you don't want immigrants. Yeah, no immigration. That's fine. Jesus. Mass migration. Mass migration. Yeah. Ugh.
Ew, like I literally missed at this when I listened to them. I was like, you know what? I actually like the Russians better, unironically, because I don't know how much if I can repeat Russian slurs here or not. I don't know if you get you in trouble, but you will ask an average Russian about, like, I don't know, back in the day when Obama became president, you would ask them, like, what do you think about that? And they will say, I can't say the N-word obviously, but they will say like the N-word, and then they will say like, he's a shit-skinned gorilla.
Oh.
Okay. And you're like, okay, yeah, I know where this person stands. And they're like, he can't be president because he is that, okay? Or you would ask them about Ukrainians, for example, now, like average Russian. Like, what should we do, the journalist asks them, with Ukrainian prisoners of war that we take? And the person would be like, we should kill them all. Why are we taking them as prisoners? Like, death to all of them. Ukrainians are subhuman. We should bomb their children too. Like, that's ballsy. That's, that's where they're at, okay? Yeah. But these ones, my idea is they're so very timed because their ideas are not as popular in their society as they pretend they are. So the voting shows this, right? In UK, and Lonerbox brought it up multiple times, and they just danced around it.
Yeah, but as long as you have like big videos, that's all that matters. It was so frustrating. This happened in Canada too, where you get like all these truckers that are like, we all like we disagree with the with the masking or the lockdowns. And it's like, okay, well the Poles disagree with you, and they're like, but look at how many trucks there are, and it's like, okay, what do you? Okay,
yeah. Well. But I think it just shows that they're so like timed about their actual opinions. They're so like unwilling to be very open about it. It shows because in Russian society, there is no social punishment, being like, saying very extreme things, because nobody will think you're awful. Nobody even will give you a side eye. Most people will just fist bump you and think you're great, or they just will not, react in any way, because it's such a prevalent thing. It's such a normal thing to say things they say in their society. So I guess it shows that, UK is obviously not like that, because otherwise people would be loud and proud.
Yeah.
Much more loud and proud than they are. Yeah. And that's good. But, yeah. But Lauren took me out in one of the moments, because she was like, they were always saying that this guy who did the thing, the Rwandan, I think, right? The guy, he is not English. And you would be like, ask them, like, he's like the citizen. He's from UK. He is a citizen of UK. Like, why the fuck? And
it's one thing that's
none of them.
Sorry, yeah. Or I was gonna say one thing that's like really confusing for the way that we use, especially for an American, this is even more confusing, is like race and ethnicity and nationality. All of these things get used interchangeably in the West. No, hold on, not in the West. I'm sorry, in America.
In the America,
because
in the States.
because like, what does it mean to be American? I don't know.
Canada.
Yeah, and then when you go to other places, but then it's also weird too because it's like is like Chinese. People will say Chinese means like an ethnicity and like a nationality, but also it's like you got like Han's Chinese or other types of Chinese people. So like, is it an ethnicity? Or like for English people, like English is like a nationality kind of, but it's also like a state in the UK kind of. But then it's also, I've never heard of like the English ethnicity. I've heard of like Anglo-Saxon. Not to say there isn't it, but I'm just not sure. But yeah, so it's all like super. It's confusing as fuck. Yeah.
I mean, Anglo-Saxons are the Germanic tribe essentially.
Oh wait, okay, wait. Is that not even who did the English people come from? I might even be wrong on that. Then all my race.
From Anglo-Saxons, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Angles, yeah. So Anglo-Saxons, they kind of lived on the modern United Kingdom territory, mostly in the territory. There are also Celts there, Picts, and some other assholes I don't remember. Whatever, there are like a bunch of tribes, and all of them afterwards they were like there in 5th century, long time ago. And after, closer to the 11th century, they formed like the Kingdom of England, essentially. It was already like which is basically the land of the Angles, essentially. So they kind of like formed in ethnicities, obviously, based on that. But back in the old days, like early medieval times, it was just a bunch of different tribes that all had like some sort of connection territorial. Or they had like a language they shared. So like Old English, for example, with Anglo-Saxons, right? Which was more Germanic than it was modern day English.
Sure.
So, it's a pretty complicated shit, but yeah, it is, obviously. You can have both a nationality and an ethnicity. It's just the difference.
Yeah, but people float between them like very disingenuously sometimes. Like someone will say in the United States, like, I hate Mexicans. And you'll be like, ooh, that's okay. And they'll be like, what do you mean? And like, well, I mean, that seems kind of racist. And people will be like, no, Mexican is not an ethnicity. That's a nationality. I just hate people of the country of Mexico. It's like, okay, bro. Yeah, and it's like, it gets really weird when people start saying, and I can't tell like what people actually mean sometimes, and I can't tell if it's intentional or not. Yeah.
I fucking hate also when they're like, we're not like, it's not racism. We're like, we here enlightened Britons, okay? We don't speak about a race. We speak about ethnicity. And like, my dude, like, you're not like fooling anyone really with this. Yeah. So also, I first gave him props for being like educated on ethnicities and everything, but then he started to throw some stupid ass shit, and I was like, no, he's not. He's just playing it up how he likes it.
Sure.
There is a certain caste of particularly British ethno-nationalists for some reason that are they're like the most Western types, I guess, of Europeans, you could say. So they have this like they have this right, I guess, or like a barometer of who Europeans are. So they think they have this right to basically exclude people from being Europeans, which he did with Finnish people.
But I usually it's only I usually see Americans doing that. I don't see that usually happening as much in Europe. So I don't know if these guys are like Americanized Europeans or if there are people that do it. Okay.
No, it's like the Anglo-Saxon shit. It kind of like sipped through you, throw them to you. A lot of like Western Europeans, not even British ones, but also like French people, Germans, they would be like doing this song and dance of excluding people from being Europeans who they find a little too Asian, I guess.
Sure.
Which he did exactly that with the Finnish people, and nobody called that asshole out, which pissed me off because he was like, they're basically Mongolian, dude. And I'm like, what?
Sure. Well, to be fair, I don't know enough about. All I know because obviously my ex-wife was Swedish. I know that like their Scandinavian people all have a lot of similarities, but I'm pretty sure the Finnish people are really different. Like language is totally unrelated. I don't know anything about the ethnic
background. But they're not Mongolian.
Oh yeah, I don't know any about that. I don't know how part of the Mongolians
went different, but he said it. He was like, oh yeah, so it's like because they have a very different language from Sweden. No shit. It's a different group of languages.
Sure, yeah.
Scandinavian, Germanic languages. There's like Indo-European languages, but Finnish language is the Ugro-Finnish or Uralic group of languages. Mm-hmm. It's a very small group that includes Estonian, and Hungarian, for example. Those three languages are in Uralic group: Estonian, Finnish, and Hungarian. They are very different from many other languages. They're pretty unique, distinct. But also he was like, they're basically from the steppe. which is a way to say Asian, okay?
Okay.
But they're actually like basically from Siberia, and the closest ethnic group to them, like by DNA, is Kareli and Estonian people. So they have some Asian DNA, but it's about 5%.
Okay, I'll take your
So
word for it. I have no idea.
nothing.
So
Yeah. The highest the highest percent of Asian like DNA they have from their Siberian heritage is 13% at the top. Most have like 5-7. So if I guess that's enough for that guy to not consider them Europeans. They also are, funnily enough, the whitest people on earth. I don't know if you ever seen them, but they are the most blondest country in the world. Even more blonde than Swedish. And they have the most blue-eyed people in the world.
Nice.
So they're like the most pasty eyes, like blonde, blue-eyed people you can possibly imagine. And yes, their DNA is quite different from the Western Europeans, but it is quite close to their other people in the region, which are like Estonians. They have a lot of similarities with Swedish people as well. They're not identical because they're two separate groups, obviously. But yeah, it's a load of bullshit what he said. When he said they're Mongolian, I nearly lost it. I don't know if you can understand it, but that's such a like Western chauvinist move.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know how all the memes work when it comes to European stuff, but I'm very familiar in America when the race realist stuff happens. Like as soon as I hear somebody start to say something, I can very quickly like pick up on like, oh, this is like we're doing like Nick Fuentes a long time ago called it soul math to determine like how white he was because of like the different ancestors he had. It was just like the dumbest shit in the world.
What a cringe lord. Yeah. And yeah, it's what they do is like if you like, it's not obviously about the black and the brown stuff, but if you like want to basically alienate let's say like Ugrafinic people, or you can alienate, let's say Slavs, for example. You would do that by calling them Asian, essentially. So they come from the steppe, like you said, or like say they're like Mongolian, some shit.
Yeah,
so,
this is like super standard probably for every part of the world. In America, racists try to say we have like an Anglo-Saxon heritage, so it's all white European stuff or whatever. And a lot of these people will literally be like Fuentes, like is part Hispanic, or like in Israel-Palestine, you've got people arguing over who the original Canaanites were and who was converted to who and who were part of the people of the Levant and the backgrounds of who. Yeah, so yeah, everybody does this to try to like have these ties to the land or whatever. Yeah.
This is just something Americans I don't think like hear much about because it's about this particular part of it's mostly about like Western Europeans say that about Eastern Europeans essentially. So it's kind of like I mean you can include Baltics in that as well I guess, but it's like mostly that. Also if you like if they want to alienate for example Balkan people, they would call them kebabs. So like Turkish.
Okay. Nice.
Like Turks, something like that essentially. So yeah, I mean I believe them, these guys, when they say they are super duper anti like Muslim shit, obviously, like, Arabs, things like that. But they also apparently are super against Ukrainians migrating in. So it's not even like, it's a broader like migration thing for them. But not because they're like against mass migration, because they just don't want not English ethnically people there at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's not about nationality to them, which you obviously showed them, but they were not reacting to it. And Lauren, by the way, did a fucking brilliant number when you were like, he is fucking, from UK. He wasn't, I believe, born there as well.
He was,
right?
yeah, he was.
And he has like the passport and everything. Yeah, so he's by nationality, he is English because he's from fucking
but then they were
England,
saying,
from
well,
UK,
if we had
right?
our immigration policy, his parents wouldn't have been here. And it's like, do you even know why they immigrated? Like, what if they were high-skilled laborers or something? Like, but they're just like,
they don't care.
Yeah,
they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just don't want anyone. They're ethno-nationalists. They don't want anyone who is not their ethnicity there. That's it. Simple as that. And the funniest bit, like I said, was with Lauren when she's like, my mother or something is English, like ethnically, and I was like not allowed to be in UK, so they can deport people if they want to.
Oh yeah, and I was like, yeah, and then I asked her, I was like, wait, were you a UK citizen? And she was like, well, no. And I was like, wait, then what are you talking about? What? I don't know if like refusal to entry is the same thing as like deportation or like whatever. Yeah, this is silly. Yeah.
She's talking about her blood right. She thinks she has more blood right to be there because she has blood of the English.
Yeah.
And that guy doesn't. That's all. That's it. That's very simple. No, you can call this out really easily because their language, it points out to all of that. And they only care about that. I'm so fucking glad that most of nationalists in my country are civic nationalists. Holy shit, this ethno-nationalism is cringe. Go liberal nationalism. When you care about nationality, not the fucking,
I'm sympathetic towards that. I think my views on this have evolved a lot since Israel-Palestine, although I kind of knew this a little bit in the United States. I agree in general that like ethno-nationalistic things are kind of cringe, but I can understand people wanting to like protect it when you're targeted based on that, right? So like, for instance, one thing in the United States is people would say like, oh, well, black people, you guys should like be just like white people and you guys shouldn't see color and all of this and we should all get along. And it's like, that is true. But if you are a black person and people treat you differently because you're black, well, it's kind of hard to pretend like you're the same as everybody else. And then it makes you have like that protective feeling over that group. So like if you're a particular ethnic group in some part of the world that's being like persecuted for being that ethnic group. And then other people are like, well, why do you guys have like such strong like ethnic, defensive ties to each other? It's like, well, because other people are killing us based on our ethnic ties. Yeah. So I kind of understand it. Yeah. The U.S. situation
is just really that English are not the ones.
Because you guys were the biggest imperialist motherfuckers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's ridiculous. Obviously, I would understand, like, for example, Ukrainians have been through and still are through the absolute shitstorm that is people targeting us, obviously, right? So, of course, people will be a bit more. But still, I'm very glad that most people, at least I talk with, and Ukrainian nationalists tend to be civic. So they do care a lot about nationality and shared culture. They care about language, but they really don't give a fuck about ethnicity that much. Sure. So, for example, if you're like Azerbaijani, which is different, entirely different group. You're also Muslim, likely, if you're like, Azerbaijani. So, but you were born in Ukraine, you have a Ukrainian passport, they don't care. So they, as nationality, they will admit you as Ukrainian. So me as well, for example, I'm mostly not. So I'm like Greek, Russian, Polish blend, essentially. So I'm not like ethnically Ukrainian.
My guess is going to be too that like when you look at like different people's histories, like depending upon how they engaged with like, I don't know world history much at all, but like my guess is going to be like how they engaged in like this post-Enlightenment, like the mid-late 18th, 19th century, and then going into the 20th century, like how people saw nations and countries and all of that is probably also going to influence how people view like their particular ethnic group. Like as Europe moved towards people like seeing borders and countries and that, they can have like a stronger identification with like a country and like a citizenship to a country. Like, like Ukraine existed as part of the Soviet Union as its own like little like state province. I don't know what the fuck they were called in the Soviet states or whatever, right? And then from 91 onwards, it exists as like a country. Whereas like when you go to other places, like say like in the Middle East, the idea of like country isn't really as strong maybe as your loyalty to your like religion or a particular ethnic group. So you don't really have that same strong like nationalistic background. You're not feeling like I want to defend this country as a citizen of Iraq or as a citizen of Yemen. Like you're identifying more along these other lines. So
yeah. I mean, nationalism is, nation states are, quite new, like as a concept. Yeah. So many people really don't give that much of a fuck about it. And they are still based upon the ethnocentrism, essentially. So they care about the shared heritage, the descendants, like who you descend from, essentially, right? They care about religion, care about traditions, care about language, things like that. But they don't really care about the nationality as it is. So national identity is also kind of like a new sort of thing it is literally new because it is something over like a new world thing, which I find to be quite like based about the United States because it was essentially like that sort of project, right? Because American is a national identity. It's not ethnicity. It's not race. Like a person of every race, every ethnicity could be an American. Yeah. Right? So it is based upon that, upon shared national identity. And it doesn't mean that you don't have anything in common or you don't have like a shared culture or you don't have like shared values and things like that. Although now it does seem like, actually and ironically now that I think about it, it does seem like you don't really share our values with the MAGA squad. But when it comes to that it's quite understandable why Americans really don't really understand all that ethnic shit because you do have like nationality and you also have race, which was like the arbitrary factor that you used to fight amongst each other and separate people out, I suppose. So it is really about the white-black thing, for example. That's why it seems so strange sometimes for Europeans when Americans are like, you're all white. And you're like, yeah, but nobody gives a fuck about that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's not like it doesn't matter at all, but it matters way less than ethnicity. I mean, there are degrees of separation, right? So if a person, for example, is I don't know, like is an Arab from, I don't know, like whatever the fuck, from Iran or some shit. No, not exactly. I mean, if it's an Arab Muslim person, right? There are more degrees of separation from you. So it's not only just the race, but it also is language, it is also culture, it is religion, it is a completely different set of values as well, for example. That's a bigger degree of separation than you, for example, would have between, let's say, Belarusian person and Ukrainian person, right? There's less difference there, obviously.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that there is not enough difference that people can fucking hate each other and kill each other, okay?
Yeah.
So that has never been a problem in Europe, okay? That has never been an issue. Yeah, so that's, yeah, I think like Americans also have a cringe ass understanding of ethnicity, no pun intended, but yeah, I sometimes I'm very confused as how you guys even understand that at all. So
I think it's just basically when you have nothing
not.
else, you don't have any other shared stories or narratives, like ethnicity, like the way that people look is just the easiest thing to fall back on. So
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit like, sometimes you talk with like ethno-nationalists and you can see that they're also, some of them are like super exclusionary, like these guys were, obviously. They didn't want any fucking migrants there at all. They just want, ethno-state, essentially. So just united by the ethnical principle. But sometimes there are sort of like more of a ethnocrats, which means that they will tolerate some number of migrants, some number of different ethnic groups, but as long as it's very minor.
Sure. Yeah.
So as long as it's a very small number, they be cool with it. And as long as the minorities are never in power.
Yeah.
So they're never in the government, they're never making the decisions. So as long as that minority lives like that, then they might be sort of okay with them. But as long, not when it's like equality, essentially. When they're doing that, then they're not chill.
Yeah.
But there are also people that are super radical that don't want them with them at all. Like, never mind if they're like the minority.
Yeah.
But
true.
these guys tend to pretend at least to be that, ethnocrats, more than ethno-state people. But I don't know if I can really trust if that's true or not. Because when he was asked, it was only because it's illegal,
Yeah.
to deport people who has, so why didn't he say, no, I wouldn't? Like, it's, it's not right thing to do, to deport people who already have like citizenship and passports. He could have said that, but instead he said like, no.
Yeah, because they want to avoid
legal.
answering the question.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, bitch move.
Okay. Well,
yeah, that's pretty much it. I educated you on Finnish people.
thank you so much. 5% Mongolian DNA. Gotcha.
I don't know why do you need it in your life, but I was just annoyed for some unknown reason when he said it, because nobody was there to call him out, obviously. Nobody had deep Estonian and Finnish lore, but that guy, dude, what a weirdo. Actually, he looks unironically 10,000 times more or less European than average Finnish person does. I throw it that way. Well, anyhow, gonna go get more shit-faced because it's that sort of day.
Have fun. Be careful.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
We're not going to watch this whole thing, okay? Fuck. I just saw a thing now and it reminded me. Fuck. I've seen so much stupid dog shit comedian shit, and then I fight with so many stupid fucking dog shit comedian fuckers that I forget that stand-up comedy is real and there's actually funny shit out there. This fucking...
What's that about? How baggy do you think they look like the fucking N1 mixtape out there? They look offensively baggy is how I would describe all of their attires. We're all adults. We can just...
Hold on, wait. Admit you were wrong about the vax? You understand that I was right. Everybody, you were so wrong. You guys were so wrong. There were no mass deaths. It hasn't been forced among all of society forever. Nothing that you guys said about the vax ever happened. And it won't happen. You're completely wrong. 1 billion trillion %. Completely wrong.
We don't... I'm not making fun of the Olympian.
Okay, I'm sorry. Good news.
I've got some good news that we have to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, when you've had the month I've had.
Okay, my guess is the good news is the broker contacted us and they said they're going to make things right. The broker is going to step up and cover everything, and we're so happy. And the broker's doing it to cover us. That's my guess. Or wait, someone said it's not related. Oh, it had nothing to do with that. Never mind.
We need good news here, okay? One of our previous investigations into BitClout has just been resolved because the SEC just charged the founder with fraud and unregistered offering of crypto asset securities. We called this a mile away, technically 3 years away. Back in 2021, we exposed this scam. It was a platform where you could buy creator coins. They preloaded a bunch of celebrities like profiles onto this platform and said it's going to be like the decentralized Twitter or whatever, and you could buy creator coins. Now, at the time, I had a huge problem with some of their wording and how it was built. You had to pay Bitcoin to get their...
Okay, don't care. Oh, lifting time. What was he thinking? Holy shit, Aiden Ross doing Olympic lifts? Let's go. Did you catch his insurance shit show? Yeah, we looked at it yesterday. My prediction on the insurance shit show is the broker fucked up hard and they are 100% liable. That would be my guess. Oh, I just felt, the medieval torture. Or is that normal? I'm sorry, hold on. Maybe I'm retarded. He's not doing like some variation on the lift that involves tearing your arm, every part of your deltoids into a million pieces, is it? Oh! Wait, what? Hello? Prediction. That's how back squats were loaded before power racks were invented? True. You know what? That is true. You should only ever have to squat as much as you can power clean. I agree with that, actually. That sounds based, okay? My guess is... wait, what do you call it when you do the jump? Is it a snatch when it goes above your head? I don't. Olympic lifts are for fucking losers. You have a responsibility to bully the fuck out of anybody. When you're in a gym, if you're not like an explicit, like an Olympic gym or whatever, when you see people doing these ollie lifts, just bully the fuck out of them. Like, bro, are you training for the Olympic? How old are you, bro? You're not 14. You're not going to win any fucking medals. No one here is impressed by you throwing these weights around, okay? If you want to do agonizing shit lifts, okay? Squat or deadlift. Nobody wants to see you throw this shit around. Fuck you, okay? You make us all feel worthless. I wonder if this guy... I don't remember what it's called when you catch it above... I don't remember if that's a snatch or a jerk or whatever the fuck. But I wonder if he finished it and then he lost his balance and he started to fall forward. That's my prediction. Even though or retrodiction. Like he lost balance here after he caught it and then he... Although I'm curious if you would really do these lifts this close to each other. Damn. Oh yeah, you see her reacting. Yeah, Jesus. Why do the emotes in your chat overlay look so small? It annoys me so much. Properties. If I have to guess, it's because I have a thing that I can add after called f equals something. And my guess is that the f changes probably just like a CSS or HTML modifier for font size, but the images themselves don't change because they're not fonts, and there isn't like scaling images that correspond to scaling font sizes. I don't know, that's my guess. Damn, it doesn't change it at all on this. What the fuck? Wait, why the fuck does it go back to... I don't know, whatever. There is CrossFit's poor event planning. Had a guy drown today. There's nothing. Listen, there's nothing wrong with CrossFit. Some people do it stupidly, but people do lots of lifts stupidly. Okay. Anything you're covering today? Should just be our timeline for the J6 stuff. Oh, and I want to read the Oathkeeper indictment today. Oh, look at how cool these are. God damn. My God. CrossFit mascot is fucking Robdo. How can you say there's nothing wrong with it? Okay, well, who are the powerlifting mascots? Did we play that Tim Walls? People are saying I'm saying his name wrong. It's Walls and not Waltz. Of him doing the oh no. I don't know if I play this on stream or not.
And I got to tell you, his running mate shares his dangerous and backward agenda for this country. J.D. Vance literally wrote the foreword for the architect of the Project 2025 agenda. Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So.
Oh no. Oh
See
no.
what I did there?
Oh jeez. I don't get it. I don't really get it that much either. Apparently there's a meme that was started on Twitter about JD Vance fucking a couch, and now all the conservatives are so fucking angry that people spread that rumor and it's not true. So I think it's a reference to that. I didn't actually know the origination of the meme or anything. Apparently it's not true, but I just think it's just funny how mad conservatives get mad over so much shit. It's fucking hilarious. They're like, I can't believe fucking people are making up shit. People are making shit up about this. They just lie, man. Why are they calling us weird? After 4 years of the most unhinged fucking rhetoric. The most unhinged rhetoric in the fucking universe. Just to review, someone on Twitter made up a story about J.D. Vance having sex on the couch, and now the totally made up story is being used on stage by the Kamala campaign to mock Vance. This is honestly one of the dirtiest things I've ever seen a presidential campaign do. These people are pure evil.